All right, cyber traders, welcome on back and closing up shop here for the week this Friday, February 12th, pre-Valentine's Day, pre-President's Day. That's the reason why the market's closed, of course, coming up Monday. Great to see everybody. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Perfect. Great to see everybody. I see on my calendar on my whiteboard, I have this like heart across the 14th, denoting Valentine's Day. I got it. And then President's Day, of course, on the 15th, coming up Monday. Great to see all of us, though. Bonnie, Dave, John, Dave A, June, Norman, who did really well earlier today. I know he's finished up for the most part. Irving and Joe, great to see you all loud and clear from all. Perfect. And along with that, social media folks on YouTube and Facebook Live, welcome on back. Hey, to start this cheapie, this NOVN, I was flipping through Benzinga Pro right away before we started. And there were two stocks right away that pointed out that appealed to me going into this afternoon. I normally wouldn't look to expect for there to be a whole lot heading into a holiday weekend, heading into any weekend, really. Fridays normally, we don't really see a whole lot, at least up until 3:30. But, at least for right now, the NOVN trade breaking a new high, breaking over 250, that is, 50-cent level. That was the previous high just before. And now pushing up 5 cents north. So yeah, for the afternoon, the NOVN trade easily, I'll just put this on our main watch list. This one, I think that we had on our pre-market watch list, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it made the main cut after 9 o'clock when Fausto finished up the morning meeting. But we were watching this early on in pre-market, had some activity. It was up big at the time, of course. So the news out on this, I just want to take a look. From Benzinga Pro here, I just see from yesterday, 5:38 in the afternoon yesterday, NOVN shares trading higher, company to issue a U.S. patent titled nitric oxide releasing. All right, it's a whole bunch of stuff here. I'm not going to. So I'm just going to copy and paste, folks. You'll see what I mean here in just a moment. Mouthful. I've had a long week, a lot of talking. So with that in mind, that's the news for right now, at least, either way. The NOVN trade pushing up beautifully. Nice level 1 stock heading into this Friday afternoon. So I'm going to put this on our main list to begin. And then the other one I wanted to jump to. What was the other one right away? You folks give me the sound check right there. So I got to scroll up. DPW, that's right. So DPW, we saw make a new high just before as well. This one making a sharper run for the afternoon, breaking out over 530, the previous high, and beautiful move up towards just about 580, and then breaking above 580 just now. So for the meantime, DPW, we now know that they are back, I think, in the blockchain market or blockchain sector, however you may phrase it. They were back in 2017, 2018. Then actually, I specifically remember back in like 2019 or maybe even early 20, there was a news report that came out that said that they don't have an affiliation with like blockchain or like Bitcoin, whatever. All right, whatever, that's fine. Then they actually said, all right, well, we're going to dip our feet back into it again, the Bitcoin mining market, that is. So for right now, with Bitcoin moving back up again a bit, so DPW making a sharper push. Definitely going to put this on with the NOVN. So the news out on this, if anything, I don't really see any news specifically on DPW. We had our eyes on a few different blockchain stocks. Fausto put the Riot, the Mara on our main watch list today. The FTFT we had our eye on as well. So Riot, you could see, ended up making a beautiful move up towards just about 52.50, 52.73, the high, and pulled back. Mara, pretty much the same thing. We also were watching the FTFT, though. This one ended up making a really nice move up earlier. I mean, as soon as the market opened, took off. But this thing's been teasing a really strong breakout off of $8 just across the whole day. I ended up taking, I think it was like a -7 or -6. Then I picked up 12 cents. And I was fortunate to pick up that 12 cents because I had my eye on Bitcoin at the time. It's a Friday right now, folks. I closed out my Bitcoin chart just before I stepped away from my desk earlier. So I don't have it up right now. I would normally show it. I showed it for all of us inside the room just earlier yesterday. But yeah, I mean, we saw Bitcoin move up. FTFT made a nice pop over 8. I ended up picking up 12 cents because, well, once I saw Bitcoin make a short little drop, I got out right away. So I took 12 cents at 8.12, dropped like a rock as soon as that happened. And for right now, it's back over 8. The hope is to see this hold over 8, for this to break out actually pretty soon from right now. I can't just hold over 8 at this point. We were looking for the breakout earlier. We were looking for the higher low off of 8 earlier, and we didn't really get it. So I think this is kind of now or never on this FTFT. I actually would feel pretty confident here, but it's just to say if it breaks below 8, if we see Bitcoin drop, then I would certainly expect this to go with it. So don't try this over and over and over and over because it's already happened so many times. This is kind of our last shot. I feel good about it, but again, if it breaks, just move away from it. With the volume off of 8, you're expecting a really nice move up. I think it's just that we've had a couple of larger orders blocking this from really running higher off of 830 and then from there 850. So for the meantime, I mean, you could even still see like 825, then the big one up at 830. All right, so I'll slip this on our main list for right now, the FTFT at least. All right, so what we'll do, folks, just again, we'll go from top to bottom. John here in the chat board says Monday, a federal holiday, not a mail holiday. It's very good to know, John. Actually, I didn't know that myself. I assume that was no mail either, so I appreciate you saying that. I never know if any of these holidays anymore. I mean, I appreciate all of them, but it's just mail, federal holiday, market closed, market open. I have a buddy who's a lawyer. He was off today, along with Monday. So you never know. So we'll go from top to bottom, folks. Actually, I think the CLEU somehow jumped the WNW as I just clicked. But yeah, look at that. It actually did. Squeezing back up now. Funny enough. Geez, good timing, I guess. I don't know. This thing ended up making such a big pop in pre-market early on. I mean, even after 8 o'clock, ended up running up beautifully from $6.50-ish, $6 all the way up towards just about 10. After the open, you knew what would happen on a stock like this. I don't need to say it any further. But yeah, getting a second run up or even third, got halted once just before and then reopened, consolidated. So here's kind of our third squeeze up right now into the afternoon on this CLEU. Ugh, frog in my throat there. My apologies. Let's just see if there's any other news on this right now. I don't have anything from Benzinga Pro. Just says halted on circuit breaker. Just resumed trading, moving higher. Obviously, as you can see that. I'll keep this on the side. Normally, for a stock that made this big of a move already, a pump, a dump, it wouldn't make a second huge move back up. And this is already a huge move. So I don't know how much more I would expect. That's the thing. Might be late to the party here at this point. The WNW, just going to pass on this for right now. Just wanted to click here to show the squeeze up earlier. Just kind of like I said before, I wouldn't expect for this to make a whole new move up heading into the afternoon. I don't know what the hell happened on the daily chart. This is a new IPO that went from 798 all the way up to 160 and above and then back down. Like, this thing's been all over the place. Huge spread either way. Just going to pass on it. Speaking of tough to trade, I mean, we're not going to watch this for the afternoon, but just to recap it quickly, this ARTL is definitely one that I was more focused on going into the market open. Inexpensive, tight spread, even right now. Very good book. But man, that was tough to trade. Myself and Fausto were talking about this during the morning audio commentary inside our trading room. And it was just so shaky minute by minute. We ended up doing all right, but then we ended up taking a couple of losses, small losses, but then from there we just stayed away, rightfully so. And ever since, you could see what happened. So it's just not worth trying to follow once the volume, the momentum begins to die off on the way up. There's only one other way it goes. I mean, usually, much more often than not, there's only one other way it goes. So that's where I'd say just find something else, move on to something else, scan the market. This LDI, kind of the same thing as WNW. It's just not worth watching, really. Oof, tops. All right. For any of our longtime students or members inside our live trading room now, are we going to get teased by this stock again or what? This stock has been a big tease of ours for quite some time. I'll go through a really quick synopsis of this, but back in like 2016, even 2017 at this point, you can't even tell based off it here. It's like such a funky graph, and it obviously didn't make this exact move up, but Tops was one of a few different shipping stocks that got squeezed up back in 2017. It was crazy. I mean, at the time, and the chart doesn't reflect it, of course, but it was the stock SHIP, SHIP, and then Ron W., one of our students from back then, it said, is there still a DRYS, DRYS? No, DRYS got delisted a long time ago. I think like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago at this point, DRYS. I mean, these shipping stocks were the first real short squeeze that I personally experienced. That stock DRYS that Ron typed in the chat board there, Stock went from, if I'm not mistaken, like 2 to 120 at the time. Wonder why it's delisted. Kathleen says, I couldn't believe I didn't lose money on it back then, right? I mean, you know, it's pretty crazy, though, because history repeats itself, not just in the term of a short squeeze like we saw in GameStop and AMC and like pretty much Dries and Tops and all those shippers. They ended up making the same exact move that you see on the daily chart for GameStop, right? So it's not just to say history can repeat itself generally with like a short squeeze, but it could be said on the same stock, Tops. It's not going to make like a move up to 100 or 200. And if it does, hey, really, God bless. But I'm not going to put my eggs in that basket. But it's just to say, what if? What if a stock like this can make a move up to 10 or 12? Certainly not impossible. History proves it. So, yeah, either way, Top's going to put on our main watch list as a day trade. Keep that in mind, folks. I'm speaking of this as a day trade for right now. This ship, both of these look pretty good, pretty strong near the highs heading into the close. So I'll put them on our main list for right now. Tops and ship. All right, so there's ship, there's tops now 5 and 6 on the gainers list here. So we'll keep it moving. Yeah, Mitch here in the YouTube stream. Welcome back, Mitch. He's asking about VTVT. We'll get to that in just a moment. Quick. Not much going on there. LKCO. This one was a nice push from earlier this morning. You could also see on the daily chart. I mean, this ended up taking a huge dive back in like what appears to be 2019. I don't know if this was an IPO back then, but we'll take a look. Oof. Yeah, I mean, pretty new chart, but big drop off. I don't know if there's like reverse splits factored in, but this is also like the same type of stock, like the shipping stocks that could make that same type of like short squeeze up. Higher lows pushing up pretty well up towards the high there off 170, 173, the real high, but iceberg off 170, I would imagine. I'll keep this on the side here for right now, this LKCO. I mean, it wouldn't do us any harm to add it to our list. I just want to kind of prioritize and just kind of skim through better. CLEU to 11. Is that what's going on right now, or is that your prediction there, Sonny, on YouTube? I haven't checked in with it in the last few minutes, so if that just exploded to 11, holy smokes! If that's your prediction, I hope it does. But we'll see. We'll jump back to that in a moment. FTFT, we'll check in with this. Maybe we'll scratch this offer list. Kind of choppy back under 8. I said it was kind of do or die from there, right? It's not really do or die just yet. Market closes at 4 o'clock. But for right now, I'll kind of demote this even. Not a fan of seeing that pull back down now underneath 8. So see if there's anything looking better. I mean, up until just before, it was great. I mean, ended up making a huge bounce from 10, under and over from 10, broke out from essentially 11 off a double break from there, but ran all the way up towards a high at the time off 1350, played the 50-cent levels and whole numbers really well, but as of now, just pretty flat. So very tradable. I think I said this just all throughout this week. This was a great side list stock from the get-go, just given the volatility, the ability to short. I said that back, I think, even on Tuesday when it was at 7. I didn't expect it to squeeze up to 1350, mind you. That's not what I'm saying here, but it's just to say it provides great opportunity as a day trade, great liquidity on the order book. The fact that it's moving up now to 13 or so, you know, the spread's opening up a little bit. The order book's starting to thin out a little bit there, but you know, from all this week, it was a great stock to watch and still keep it on your list going into next week. All right. Let's see. Any other familiar names here just on this gainers list? Obviously, there's going to be a lot more. 35 here. Number 35 is up just 21%, just only 21%. So that's where I'll say, folks, if there's anything that's up like 10% or more that looks really good, I mean, I'll just say it now. Type it in the chat board. We'll just jump right to it in a moment. TRCH ended up making a nice pop going into the afternoon here off 12:30 Eastern. Popped essentially from 240, blasted through 250, and still seems to be tradable. pretty close to the highs, building like this pennant pattern here, filling in sideways. Higher lows, lower highs. A lot of sideless material, nothing that's like really making me like jump right to it. We have a few, but we'll see if the CLEU ends up dumping back down or not. Or I'm sorry, I mean the DPW, the NOVN, the shipping stocks. I mean, this IMGM maybe getting a little second win up towards the 1050 level, but I think I'm going to pass there. All right. We got from Jose saying Kronos Pop, CRON. That was one that we called out earlier. Oh, I thought he was talking pop as a new high of the day. It did pop, so I appreciate that. Hopefully there's more to it than this. It did break over 1250 once again, so this would be the moment to see this really make a nice move. Jose, if you're in from that 1250, that's a nice trade. Definitely good call. I thought it was a new high of the day, so I jumped to it. I was like, oh, it popped over 13 again. Has a ways to go to get back up to 13, but yeah, I mean, given the afternoon move, and it's one that we're pretty familiar with, we're not really at too big of a list right now, so this will make the cut. XXII just at $4, a 41,000 share order. It's at the highs right now. It's up like 7+%. I appreciate the trend. It's moving up nicely for like a level 1 stock. Want to see if there's anything looking just even better. Jump to Mitch's VT from YouTube. Mitch, I don't know. Mitch. That pop and drop, right? So I appreciate the call out at the time, but at this point now, that's why I like looking at this trade now after the fact. You see this die off. Michael says here the FSR bouncing up. Yeah, that ends up making a really good run from earlier today. Popped from essentially 18. I mean, it dipped all the way down to 1727, mind you. But, once it rebroke through the 18, that's your slingshot. It just blasted into orbit there. So, yeah, kind of making that under and over from the 1850 here. Definitely still seems to be tradable. And given the volatility from earlier, it does provide more opportunity than some of the others that we've looked at so far. So again, it's not like where we're at like 11, 12 stocks. I certainly will put this on our list for right now, this FSR. Do I expect it to, break new highs and run up, to 20 again? No. But if this can give us 50 cents, $1, I think that would be really good. And that goes both ways, Mike, right? You know that. I mean, if this just re-breaks below 1850, we might see 18. That could be a good short. From RJF, the ARTL. That was a tongue twister for some reason. Big iceberg at 250. Yeah, definitely good call on the iceberg, but it's washed up. I wouldn't expect much on this trade for the afternoon. All right, I'm going to jump to Benzinga Pro here quick. I mean, first and foremost, ship. Maybe we don't need to have 20 stocks or 15 or 12 stocks on our watch list. We have the ship moving up even higher. Trust me, I'm saying ship and not the other word that you might think I'm saying there. I remember back one day, and this is like years back, I have this like painted in the back of my head, like back in grade school. Teacher thought I said one word when it was really SHIP. So pretty funny, but tops along with it ending up making a nice push up towards the highs right now. So, I mean, hey, we have really good stocks on our list so far. We don't need to have like 10 or 12 or 15, like I said. Jaguar, though, getting a nice push. It's popped up on my Benzinga radar right now. So this is one we're pretty familiar with. I hope there's a lot more left to it here. See if there's news. Not really. No news yet that I see. WNW, I think, pushing up higher right now. That was one of the top percent gainers we started off with. So I just wanted to point that out. That just popped up also on my radar. Listen, we're not going to put this on our main list. If anyone's in from a lower price, God bless, you are doing fantastic. But as a day trade, at this point right now, up over 112% on like a 70+ cent spread or so, it's not worth it. That's it. All right, Bonnie here lastly. I like the stock. We'll take a look at it. Can pushing back up. So I didn't like put this on the side list even, but now getting a nice little push back over 13. So showing a little bit more life to it. I'll slip this on our main list for right now. Good call. FTFT pretty lame right now. The CLEU dumped all the way back down to 8. I think game over on that for the most part. I kind of expected that. The OKCO I saw from earlier, it looked all right to begin the meeting, but at this point now, over the last like 5 or 7 minutes, dumped back down. I would expect that. I was just hopeful. So at this point now, I'm going to pass. All right, so how about this? I got a question from one of our members on YouTube right now. We're going to finish it off with this. They're asking, hey, which according to you is the best scanner? Is it Scans as in SKANZ? Is it Trade Ideas? Or what are your thoughts on CTRM, the stock? So I will look at CTRM. I didn't read the last part of your question at first, but I will say in terms of your other questions, why don't you join us coming up next Tuesday or this upcoming Tuesday? That'll be on the 16th. So for all of our members on YouTube, Facebook Live, I'll just sign off with this. We're doing our Traders Talk workshop, which we always host, which we're still hosting inside our live cyber group trading room. But, 1 out of 3 times a year, we'll tend to host it for free on social media. So feel free to join us. And hey, I would look to ask that question coming up on Tuesday. I will certainly answer it right there. It will give you a really good idea as far as, what we're doing really inside our trading room, the X's and O's, not just the call outs, not just the watch lists. We're not trading every one of these stocks. And for the stocks that we're trading, are we going long? Are we going short? Where are we taking these trades from? And how are we getting them? So I'll answer all of those questions and everything else like coming up on Tuesday, the 16th. Keep in mind, folks, also for all of us, this goes across the board, but anyone watching internationally outside the U.S., we have President's Day here in the U.S. on the 15th. It might even be Washington's birthday. I forget the title of it as to why. I think it's President's Day. Nonetheless, though, markets are closed here in the U.S., so we're going to be off on Monday. No streams, nothing on Monday, but coming back on Tuesday, the 16th, we'll be back to our normal program. And then, of course, we'll do our Traders Talk workshop that Tuesday that'll be at 11 a.m. Eastern time, by the way. 11 a.m. Eastern time, that Tuesday, the 16th. All right, so the CTRM, though, at this point, pretty washed. I'd say the same thing. Just ended up making a big pop and drop back from yesterday, dumped down and back up today. So maybe there's a little life, but after this little move up over 150 and back under it, if it doesn't pop in the next, 3 to 5 minutes, it's not to say it's going to drop hard, but it's just not going to go anywhere, I'd imagine. All right, folks, so I think that just about does it. I think all in all, we have 2, 4, 6, and then 7 stocks on our watch list. Outside of those, I'll probably be glued to all my cryptocurrencies, all of that. Everything, not Bitcoin necessarily, but all these other altcoins are exploding on me right now, like Cardano, VE Chain. It's been a wild day for me with that, if anything. So I'll probably be more drawn to that than anything. But if there's anything else, folks, hey, we'll look to scan our Benzinga. We'll scan our platforms, work together as a team inside our live trading room, and see if there's anything else we can get going into the final few minutes of this week. All right, folks. All right, so for all of us on social media, enjoy the weekend. That's my sign off there. And I look forward to seeing you back on Tuesday, at least for our Traders Talk workshop. And then for all of us live inside the trading room, give me a quick moment. I'll jump back on the mic at 3:30 going into the final 30 minutes. Take care.